So thanks for being with me today, Jared. I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of mutual funds for millionaire investors and help our audience understand a little bit about some of the positives, some of the advantages of mutual funds, but for the millionaire investor, what some of the disadvantages may be and what they might be able to do differently.
Okay, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. I think your question is a very interesting one. The pros and cons of mutual funds definitely differ based off your account size and your overall wealth. So let me talk about the two real pros to mutual funds first. The first pro is you get diversification. So you buy a mutual fund. In that mutual fund, there's lots of positions, and so you get instant diversification. The second pro is you get access to markets you may not have access to. So for a small investor, diversification and access to markets are very, very important. For larger investors, it's not so important because you have the ability to use individual positions and achieve diversification on your own. You don't need that mutual fund. And you also don't have to worry too much about access to markets because you have plenty of wealth to access markets on your own. So those two pros really don't impact and are not as beneficial to bigger clients. The cons to mutual funds, I would say one of the biggest ones is they're mutual, they're rather generic. So you don't know kind of what's in there and it's not customized for you. And that con is for every size investor. Second kind of con, I would say, for mutual funds is the cost. You're paying a relatively high cost for a mutual kind of generic solution. And that also impacts high net worth clients as well as low net worth clients. And the third, I would say one of the biggest ones is tax efficiency. So with our clients, especially high net worth clients, they're concerned about performance and they're concerned about growth, but they're equally concerned about wealth preservation, protect me on the downside, and taxes. They want to minimize taxes. Most of my high net worth clients are in the highest tax brackets, so they really want to control the transaction. In a mutual fund portfolio, you have what you call natural turnover, and that's within the mutual fund. There's buying and selling, and those create taxable events in the taxable account. With our clients, with individual securities, we control every single transaction. So not only control the customization of if they want growth or income and the risk management process of it, but does that transaction create a tax impact? And that's paramount for our employees or our clients.
Yeah, and I think another way to phrase it, because you and I have worked together on several different clients, millionaire clients and their portfolios. And another way to phrase it is that, when you're a smaller investor, I think mutual funds are very beneficial. And I know you have said in the past that you own some mutual funds, and I know that I do. Nothing wrong with mutual funds, but when you're a larger investor, you have the kind of wealth where you can actually hire a firm like your firm, Jared, City National Rockdale, and we can help that client kind of, for lack of a better term, create their own mutual fund. They have the money to be able to achieve that diversification, buy the stocks without having to go through another firm to do that, be in the same boat with other investors, be subject to additional transaction costs, additional operating costs, additional tax costs that exist and are inherent in the mutual funds.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And when you use the word, create your own mutual fund, the only thing I would say is just take that word mutual, you create your own personalized portfolio. And one of the biggest advantages of having a customized portfolio with individual stocks and bonds is that over time, everyone's objectives and goals change. People change, markets change, and a mutual fund is such a broad, generic mutual solution, it's not set up for change. So an individual portfolio with individual stocks and bonds is much more flexible to meet the changing demands in the economy, the environment, what's going on politically, what happens in tax law changes, but also what happens in the person's individual goals and objectives, which tend to change over time. You're absolutely right, Brian.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with me today, Jared.
All right, thanks, Brian. Have a good one.
All right, you too.